Today we wanted to cover some of the new additions and new features of Oil Country OS added in the 9.1.9.44 update that released about a week ago. Primarily, we designed the application so that it allows you to use the batch selection function to do pretty much any action in the system. Before, it only allowed you to relocate and checkpoint items, multiple items at the same time, but you weren't able to add multiple line items to an order or load multiple items on a truck at the same time. You had to do it one by one. But as of this latest update, the system is much more intuitive and allows you to perform most actions in the system on multiple jobs at the same time with just the click of a button. On top of that, we've included we've included filters for our custom queries, which allows you to create customized reports that may not be available in our reporting suite, and it allows you to apply your own filters depending on your needs. Excuse me. So let's go ahead and get started and look at our batch selection. All right, so I'm going to go into search for pipe. Okay, search for pipe. I'm going to see that I have several jobs that I received into this database. We see that we have the selected column here. And this is going to be present on most of your of the screens which allow you to pick a job. You'll have this selected column. And if you right-click on it, it'll allow you to select all, none, or by some sort of qualifier, i.e. received, shipped, storage, or reconcile and reconcile. So if I select all, I can now perform any of these actions here on the screen to all these jobs at the same time. I'm going to demonstrate by checkpointing all of them to storage. And we can see they're all received now, and they've all been checkpointed to storage. And this is the general behavior that you're going to see in this newest version of Oil Country OS. That's just possibly the simplest example that I could give you. So let's look at shipping. The old method of shipping would have you click on the ship button, select a destination, owner, and it would have you add a single item. And if you wanted to do more, you would have to go through that process again. With this latest update, you can add all of the items by selecting them and clicking the OK button. This will load everything you've selected onto that truck without having to repeat that process multiple times. We imagine this is going to save you guys a lot of time and hassle, and it's just a great quality of life improvement. So we're going to complete that. Okay, let's go back to Pipe Explorer. Okay. And we're just going to checkpoint them all back to storage. Again, I can just right-click on selected and click select all. And it makes it really, really easy to checkpoint things like that. So I'm going to go have a look at our yard. Now we can see these are in the webinar yard 1, but they're all on different racks, even though they're the same material. I did this intentionally to show you the relocation. So if I go into yard view, my default yard is set to this yard anyway, and we can see that we have all those jobs spread across these 5 racks. So it is very easy for me to move all of these and kind of into the same rack since they're all the same material. I can do this in Pipe Explorer, for example. And I'm going to leave the ones on A1 there. So I'm going to leave those there, and then the rest of these I'm going to relocate. Now there's 2 ways I can do this. I can right-click and hit Relocate Batch, or I can click the transfer button. I'm going to use the Relocate Batch. This is going to make it easier. and I'm going to put them all on rack A2. As you can see, it keeps the webinar yard 1 as the yard, since this is primarily intended for you to move multiple jobs to one rack within the same yard. However, you can set this to a different yard and send them away that way. So we're going to set those all on rack 2 and click Relocate. As you can see, those jobs that I had selected are now on rack 2, and if I go back to my yard view, you can see they've all been moved over there. And I didn't have to, it's very simple here with 4 jobs, but if you have, 100 jobs, then that becomes very time-consuming to do one by one. So we're hoping that this helps to alleviate that pain a little bit. Excuse me. All right, so now that we're in Yard View, we can see that we can do the same thing as we did in Pipe Explorer. This bottom section is essentially just a miniature version of that. That shows you only what's on these on the selected rack. So I'm looking at rack A1 right now. You can see that I have these 2 jobs on storage. Say, for example, I need to ship these jobs. I can follow the same process. Well, let's do it with these A2 jobs. Let's go with 4. I can select all of these jobs and click on the Ship button. And what that's going to do is it's going to load everything I have selected onto a truck, and it's going to pre-populate the ship from information for me. Since they're all in Webinar Yard 1, it automatically did that. All I need to do is select a destination. We're going to send it to Oklahoma 1 back 40. And we're going to hit the complete button to ship them out. Before, you had to open up a ship truck, an outbound truck, and add these items and search for them. And you can still do that. I can add the item and again select whatever jobs I want, and it's going to add all of the ones I select onto that truck. So you can kind of do it multiple ways. You can do it directly from Pipe Explorer, directly from Yard View, or you can do it the old-fashioned way, click on the Ship button from the home screen and just add multiple items this way. We wanted to keep it consistent throughout the system, so the way it works in one screen is the way it works, pretty much across all screens with the selected column and the multiple select. So I'm just going to cancel that, and I'm going to ship these 4 jobs out for us. Hit complete. We'll complete them now. It's going to think for a sec. And now we can see they've been shipped. So they're no longer on this rack. They're in the Oklahoma 1 back 40 yard. So that's another great use for this. One of the main points that we wanted to address with this was the sales order process whenever you're selling some of your inventory to one of your customers. So let's go and create a sales order. I'm going to go to New Sales Order. And now I'm going to add those 2 line items I had on the A1 rack onto the sales order. But first I'm going to use example customer 1. And I'm going to put the shipping information to well 1. And I'm just going to put a random address. There we go. United States. Okay. Excuse me, I just need a drink of water. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and add an item. I'm going to select those 2 jobs that I had. So I'm going to pick from existing job or tally. Again, here we have those two line items I had on rack A1 in my webinar yard. In this case, it's in 2 and 3. It's tubing. I'm going to just select both of them. Again, you used to have to select one by one, add an item, click on the button again, add another item. But now I can just click on the selected button, click OK, and it's going to populate those onto my order. So it really makes it a lot easier. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Well, I'm going to mark these as taxable and then save it so we have a little better representation. Okay, so I want to make note that I'm shipping to well 1 because this is going to be relevant here when we create an outbound truck for these 2 jobs. This is where it's going to get the shipping information. So once I have this saved, I'm going to checkpoint this order to invoice so that I know it's invoiced. From here I can go to the print and I can see my invoice here and say that we've received payment and we're ready to ship these items off. The way it used to be, you would have to create an outbound truck, search for items on this sales order, and do it that way. What we've added is a right-click function. If you right-click down here in the line item, and you'll see Ship All Jobs, unlocked only. That means that if I do this, it's going to ship all jobs that don't have this little lock checkbox marked. This used to be the completed checkbox, but we felt that was a little confusing since it doesn't necessarily complete the jobs. It just referred to a completed line item. So we changed it to locked. The functionality is the same. It basically indicates whether a line item is complete or outstanding. So if I click on the Ship All Jobs, unlocked only, it's going to open up a truck and load both of these jobs on there. So let's go ahead and do that. And it's going to ask you to verify. Are you sure you want to ship all unlocked material on this order? And yes, I am. And there we go. We see that we have a truck that had the destination loaded from this ship to information on the purchase order. It's very important that you remember that it's not taking it from your customer or your jobs. It's taking it from the sales order itself. And it pre-populated, obviously, my information here on the ship from, since my company is doing the shipping. And I can just go ahead and complete the truck. Complete the job tallies now. Save. And we can see that these items have now been locked. So if we then add more items, in this case I'm just going to choose from a part number. Whenever I receive this material and go to ship it, it's not going to ship these previous 2 jobs because they're locked and they've already been completed. So that's probably one of the biggest additions we added to the sales order is the Ship All Jobs unlocked only option for you guys. Now I wanted to kind of show you in more detail what you can do with these with these functions. So I'm going to receive some jobs. I'm going to receive some material just so I can have something to show you guys. So I'm just going to ship from my company to my company just to bring in new inventory. And I'm going to pick from a master part since I don't have any existing inventory. And I'm just going to stick with tubing, 2 3/8 J55. And I'm bringing 5,000 feet, an average of 32 feet per joint. And I'll put that on the B1 rack. Then I'm going to add another job of tubing. Now I'm going to do some N80 this time, some 2 3/8 N80. And I'm going to bring 4,500 feet, an average of 32 feet. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and complete those. And if I go to my yard and refresh that, I see that I have my 2 jobs. All right. I'm going to move all of this over here. What I wanted to show you guys is that you can do a lot of your prints and a lot of your exports by selecting multiple items. So not only can you ship or relocate or checkpoint, but if you go to print, and let's say we're going to print just an inventory report, a bulk report, you can do it for multiple line items. Here we go, inventory summary. We can see that it's only going to build the report for the line items that we have selected. And again, it's not very important when you have 2 jobs, as in this example, but when you have a rack with 5, 6, 10 jobs, or a yard with hundreds of jobs, you can use the select all function, as in right-clicking and clicking select all, to quickly select everything in that yard and run an inventory summary. And of course, you can filter this by using the Pipe Explorer. Let's say you want to look at everything that's in webinar yard 1 that's 2 3/8. You can run that report, and again, this is only the 2 jobs I have, but most of you guys are going to have a large amount of these jobs, and then you can right-click, select all, hit the print button, and there you go. You have a report on the fly that quickly. If you guys notice, our reports are also much faster this time around. And generally throughout the application you'll find that everything is more expedient. So that is probably the largest addition to this to our application here, to Oil Country OS, that we've added in this newest release. Anytime you see the selected column, it's going to behave the same way as I showed you here. You can apply these actions to multiple jobs based on your selections. So the behavior is very, very consistent across the system. The other new addition that we added, the new feature, was filters to our custom queries. In the report manager, we have a section called custom query, and these are kind of miniature reports that can be generated very quickly by us. And we can generate custom ones depending on your needs. Up until now, you had to just use the query as it was built. But if I select a custom query and click on the Advanced tab up here at the top, it's going to give me filters that I can apply to this query, much like Pipe Explorer. So these are on-the-fly reports. Say there's a report that you don't necessarily run that often, but you still need to run. You can do this. We can build you a custom query, and then you can apply filters to it on the fly. So it's a really good way of kind of customizing your system to your needs. Like I said, we can add these on the fly, kind of. They're just kind of billable hour items. As you can see, these are more obscure type queries that we run that don't necessarily necessitate a report built for themselves. Another big change that we implemented that is a little bit more subtle is a change in the way the filters work on the reports and on the Pipe Explorer. Basically, anytime you have a date range box, it used to be 2 boxes. Well, now we've combined that all into one, and it's only going to ask you for an input date if you select one of these bottom ones, any, is between. So if I select is between, it's going to show me the 2 input boxes. And if I select just is, then it's going to give me 1, so I can set the date. So this reduces the amount of confusion, and it should allow your users to cut down on possible errors or misunderstandings. So this date range box was also a big addition, we think, for kind of quality of life improvements for the application. If we go into the admin console, we've also added a system maintenance routine. As you can see, we've covered these before. These are kind of system cleanup routines that we built so that kind of super admins can run on their system. And we added this delete unused pipe properties. This is a great tool because over time, as you create new master parts and people use the system, you'll have some kind of naming conventions or measurement conventions that are duplicates or differ only slightly. For example, 4.5 size pipe or 4.5 size pipe. It's the same thing, and depending on which one you use, you can delete the trash one. Say, for example, you only use the convention 4.50 instead of 4.5 as a fraction. And if all your master parts are using that 4.5, you can run this subroutine by selecting it and clicking on the Run button, and it's going to delete all the properties that aren't used in one of your master parts. So that's a really useful tool for you guys. And that's about it for the new features. It was mostly bug fixing and just kind of stability and speed increase for the application, and just some those very basic but very noticeable and very useful new implementations for you guys. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at support@archondata.com or by live chat on our support website. That is support.archondata.com. There's always someone there to take your call or take your live chat. And as always, this will be uploaded on our YouTube channel, along with all of our other training and all of our other training videos. That is youtube.com/oilcountryos.